Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Fortin with Michigan Matters. Today is July 8th, and we have a few different subjects I'd like to touch upon today. I don't expect to take a lot of time here, but I understand yesterday that there was some kind of announcement about the Department of Education that they found a bunch of fraud in it too. It seems like our whole nation has been embroiled in fraud from our state and the federal government. We're 30 some trillion in debt, and it's all your money and mine. They've been misusing and throwing around and spending and using for campaigns and whatever. And the Department of Education is absolutely corrupt, and it has been corrupt from day one. Jimmy Carter, who in my mind is one of the stupidest presidents we've ever had, he is the one that gave away the Panama Canal. He's the one that gave away Iran. The Iran we're dealing with today was blessed by him. And also, he started the Department of Education. Before the Department of Education, we had the best education system in the world. We had an education system that, you name it, our advanced aircraft, everything. These kids were taught everything. And since the Department of Education, a Soviet-style system, came into being, in my mind, it was designed for the purpose of destroying the United States. And that's what don't call me a conspiracy theorist. Look at the figures. Look at the figures. Our kids they can't read, they can't write cursive, they can't do anything. They don't know anything. They can't tell you where England is on a map. They can't tell you who won the Civil War. They can't tell you anything. And it's a crying shame. Look at these teen outbursts we have going around across the country today. That's just organic. No, that's designed by the American Communist Party, aka Democrats, and they got this disruption going on all around the country because we are right on the cusp. We are going to decide in our 250th year whether we stay a republic or we become a socialist communist state. That will be decided in November. And I certainly hope that you will get out there and vote because this is a critical election. But the Department of Education has to be rubbed out. And this is what irritates me too. It's been going on since the 70s. And when Republicans are in power, they will do nothing about the Department of Education. In fact, we had in Michigan, we had Betsy DeVos, the queen of Michigan education. And President Trump in his first term made her, the head of the Department of Education. What did she do? Nothing. Nothing whatsoever, except dump on Trump on January 6th on that phony riot that was caused. They're anti-Trump or globalists anyway, but I'm just saying the Department of Education has to go. The Michigan Department of Education has to go. The vile and evil stuff they've been doing to our children has to stop. We need to start educating our children. That's all I wanted to say about that. Now that fraud also, to me, fraud's not the biggest thing. What they've done to our children is by far more than that. Also, the flock cameras and data centers, not a lot of time on that, but it just seems to me, I'm thinking that all of a sudden we woke up in America and Michigan to discover that people wanted data centers everywhere. It just happened. There was no discussion, no anything, no voting, no anything involved. Just it's being stuffed on everybody everywhere across the country. And now flock cameras also, which these things are totally, the flock camera especially is totally unconstitutional on its face. You don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be a Supreme Court justice. If you believe in the Constitution of the United States and you look at that, putting flock cameras up is unconstitutional. Watching every move you make, no matter where you make it, is unconstitutional. And you think it's to stop crime? Where have they made any effort to stop crime? You get the most vile criminals out there and they let them loose. No, it's to watch us. We're the dangerous ones. We're the American citizens that are used to freedom, and they don't have freedom in mind for us. So that is who has to be watched, is us. They could care less. Criminals are something that they use to be able to go after our gun rights, our other freedoms, freedom of speech, whatever. They want that crime. They need a high level of crime, excuse me, so that they can twist it and come after your freedom and mine in order to make us safe. Now, something that really irritated me today, I discovered there's an Ohio soccer player named Toby Forsythe who was killed by a truck driver who is, again, is another illegal alien, non-English speaking truck driver. Now, when this happened, when I should have looked it up before we started this, but I'm trying to remember when it happened. If you remember that, I think it was a Pakistani or Indian guy driving that semi, making a U-turn on a freeway, rubbed out a family. Remember that? And the uproar, finally an uproar, right? This is months later. We still have illegal alien, non-English speaking people driving our trucks on the highways. Are you kidding me? This is so easy to fix. Back then, they could have closed down every freeway. You had cops going from truck to truck. You're illegal. You pull them out of the truck and you send them to ICE. And you find out who hired them. And you sue them and you go after them. These people that are hiring these people should be in prison. Period. It's just, they're accessories to murder. I can't believe this. The things that are easy to fix, we can't fix. I know I'm hopping around subject to subject, but there's a whole bunch of this garbage. So now, locally, thousands were left without electricity after a storm last Friday. So thousands in the Thumb area in southeast Michigan, I think mostly northern Macomb and north, lost their electricity, did not have it the entire weekend, 4th of July weekend. These things do happen, but stop and think. Are they that necessary? We had billions with a B to spend and force spend across the United States to put in smart meters in every home, business, everything in the continental United States. Endless money for that. Endless money. Smart meters that watch you and me again, a little flock camera in a way, watching you and me, how we use electricity, smart appliances that it can control, all this kind of thing. Endless money for that. But no money to improve the grid. And now we got this data center crap coming along to tax the grid more. I mean, does anyone in government have a brain? Oh, I forgot. They're all bought. And that's what it is. They're purchased outright. That's why nothing gets fixed. Now, we are going to work hard, and we are going to have a Republican governor, a Republican House, which we do have now, and we're going to get the Republican Senate in Michigan. And let's watch and see what the Republicans do this time. Because historically, they sit on their hands. Everybody gets frustrated. They vote the Democrats back in. The Democrats move more to the left all the time, taking away more rights and freedoms and so on. We all get mad and we elect Republicans again, who sit on their hands and cycle, wash, rinse, dry, what that old saying. It's going to change this time. We're going to watch our Republicans. We do have some fighters in the House right now, and we expect them to continue to fight when we have a majority and a governor that will sign things. So we expect a Republican governor for the first time in a long time to be a Republican governor and act like a Republican. The problem is Michigan's forgot what a Republican is. So anyway, also, I'm going to end this on a positive note. I promise that I will. But this election thing, we have Benson, who is the Secretary of State, who is in charge of the election where she is running for governor. Where does that make sense? Sounds like Michigan, though. It really does. That's the way we do things. But that's not all. In Macomb County, we have a Shelby Township clerk who's in charge of the elections for his wife running for the House. We have a Republican candidate for Secretary of State who is in charge of the Macomb County elections. He's a county clerk. And Macomb County, it's been proven in 2016 in the presidential election, Macomb County can swing a state race. But he's in charge of the Macomb County election. So I don't care, Democrat, Republican. That stuff is not right. These people should be stepping down. In some cases, it don't make a whole lot of difference because they got minions that'll do what they're told anyway. But it's the idea of the thing, the optics, if you will. I hate that word, but it's true. So this is how our elections are run. So we have a township clerk whose minions are slandering to death a candidate running against his wife. all over Facebook every day. And these minions, they crack me up. One is a young woman with a past, and she was slandered to death back when she tried to run for the House, thrown off the ballot by the Macomb County clerk, slandered to death. We defended the heck out. I say we, my vice chair and myself at the time, we were the Macomb County leadership. And we defended her because her life had changed, all these kind of things and all that. And we don't like slander anyway. But anyway, we defended her. You would think that this young woman with a family would remember how it feels to be slandered. But oh no. She went after that clerk one time, and then he came after her, and she's been a good little girl ever since. And it's the same thing with the other minions. And none of them are accomplished, by the way, like Jean Zott, the competition is. Jean Zott's a CPA with a wonderful history. But oh no, 30 years ago, she had a bankruptcy. That happens in business, you know. But that bankruptcy, she got through the bankruptcy like people do. And guess what happens when you file bankruptcy? When you file bankruptcy, it means that you are free of all the debt. Am I correct? So she was free of all the debt. But you know what she did? She paid it anyway. She paid all the debtors. Sounds to me like the kind of person I'd want, and not some goof that's been doggone supported by every elected official cabal in Macomb County. And they all know she can't hold a candle to Jean Zott. But this is what we're facing in Michigan, and it might be going on in your county, your township, whatever. We have no representation. We really don't. You go to a township board meeting, and they're not there for you. You elected them. They're there for you, supposedly. That's the way the country was set up. But they got a lawyer to defend them. The township lawyer is not there to defend the township. He's there to defend them. And you get 3 minutes to speak, or 2 minutes to speak, or whatever. And they're, in many cases, not always, we had a situation in a township that I live in where they listened. And everybody spoke and so on and so forth. And it all went very well. And they did listen to the people. But many times it's not that case, especially this data center garbage, as you know. So anyway, I'm done ranting on these different things. But we have to start thinking about our country and our state. We must fix this. Almost everybody I know has family members in another state. And Michigan, which should be dynamic, it should be, these elected officials should be looking at successful states. What are they doing to be so successful, and how can we duplicate it? Or what they're doing, how can we use it here? But they don't. It's dark money, PACs, and all this crap. And we got to put an end to that. We got to start thinking. We got to vote in the primary. Those of you who don't vote in the primary, it's critical. That's where you have a chance to change things. Because in November, we have a choice between Republican and Democrat. The Democrats, I don't care what anybody says, are communist. Is every Democrat official a communist? No. But the ones that aren't, like Hertel, okay, is he a communist? I don't think so. But has he said one word to protect our children against transvestite garbage going on in the schools and grooming? Has he said one word about the illegals killing our kids? Has he said one word about, no, because he's a team player on the wrong team. They're socialist Democrats, and we got to get them out of office. So in November, we have to support the Republicans and get them in. We have a Republican majority in the House and Senate in the U.S. and in Michigan, desperately. But now's where we get to pick what Republican. Now we get to pick between the Jean Zott citizens that want to make a difference in the government establishment people that don't, that love it the way it is. So we need you to think about the people you're voting for and go vote in the primary. Now, I saw a video today, somebody complaining about the support, the results of the Michigan game. I'm sorry, the World Cup soccer, and the American team lost, I guess, to Bulgaria. Is it? I forget, but I guess they didn't play well, and It is a sad thing in a way. However, look at the other thing. I saw a video by a Canadian girl, and she's saying that we won, the United States won the World Cup because she said, we're going to change the world. America is going to change the world. That the world came to America to see these games, and they have left with the real vision of what America really is. That they've been lied to by this scummy media. They have been lied to, and they now know it, that America is not what they've been told. And we won a huge victory by having the World Cup here. So in actuality, we won. And if you look on Facebook at these places where all these Europeans are putting short videos and everything, it's very, I hope our kids are watching it, because so many of our kids have been taught by this corrupt, filthy education system to hate their country and hate America and everything else. And they should be loving America, because there's no place on earth like it. So anyway, I thank you all for being here with me today, and thank you for putting up with me. It's been about 15 minutes of ranting. but ladies and gentlemen, it's our lives and our kids. I know that many people are kind of wore out in a way. You're tired of hearing it. You're tired of, those of you that are active are a little bit tired of fighting, and it seems like you get nowhere. It's about our children and our posterity. Our founders brought it up over and over, our posterity. We are their posterity. They suffered for us. I mean, I was rereading, I know a lot of these things because I've read them so often, but I was rereading a little bit about Valley Forge the other day, and how they suffered without shoes or anything, and food and all that sort of thing. The March on Trenton in the snow, 8 miles, some didn't have shoes. I mean, these people suffered to bring about this republic, and we don't want to go vote. I mean, we got to pay attention, folks, because we could lose this republic if we're not careful. So please, God be with you. Pray for our country. Pray for our state in Michigan and the United States. And hopefully I'll talk to you soon, Lord willing. Thank you.